Why a one-term pledge could help Biden break out. Washington. Former Vice President Joe Biden knows he has issues. He'd turn 80 halfway through his first White House term at a time Democrats are drawn to new blood, and he's a legend of the old political order even as an energized left looks to upend it. So he's hatched on a possible solution, announcing a younger running mate, perhaps former Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams, and pledging to serve only one term. Both are ideas long floated by pundits in previous elections that come with huge risks, but also potential rewards. But the moves would also lend a new clarity of purpose to Biden's campaign, one that no other candidate might be able to match. The former vice president, the late John McCain, another Senate lion who loved grand gestures, considered before rejecting it amid concerns his lame duck status would make him less effective and it might draw even more attention to his age. But if he commits to only 4 years, Biden would pitch himself as a brief Obama restoration before the next generation decides a clearer post-Donald Trump direction. Already, his focus heavily on tributes to the last administration, reflections on the good old days of relative bipartisanship, and condemnations of Trump as a unique threat to democracy. It's clearly a mess, so why not just say the quiet part out loud? In doing so, the president eats, sleeps, and breathes punditry. It's also in many. When it came time to take on Jeb Bush, for example, whose chief vulnerability was his link to two presidents GOP voters had reservations about, other candidates danced around the topic. Senior Marco Rubio, in the general election, when pundits speculated that evangelical voters, turned off by Trump's sordid personal behavior, were torn by fears a Democrat would appoint pro-choice judges, Trump just repeated their arguments near verbatim. Rather than try to refashion himself as a politician reborn who can lead the new.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.